You guys, we have got to talk about this TikTok couple that is currently going viral. I'm talking about TikToker Sarah Kim and her husband Andrew. She's recently started a podcast with him where they talked about their married life, and everyone is analyzing their relationship. They do not like Andrew. There's been a ton of backlash since they started, so we're going to get into everything that has been said online. This drama randomly appeared on my For You page, and we just had to come and talk about it together because the conversations online are just wild. But meet Sarah Kim. She's a corporate girly who is also a huge influencer and is about to have a baby with her husband Andrew. And for the last month, she's been doing a podcast with him called At Home with Hoemgirl. The clips from their podcast have gone absolutely viral as the internet has decided they do not like her man at all, and they want much better in this life for her. Quite literally pleading with her in the comments to get away from this man. It kind of feels like the energy that people have with Matt and Abby a little bit, but I am feeling for Sarah. I do think that a lot of the things that they are talking about in this podcast are things from their past. They've just been talking about their journey through marriage. The podcast has been a timeline starting from the beginning, with the first episode being how we met, then episode 2 is dating, we get the proposal, the wedding day, marriage is hard, are we ready for a baby, and then the final episode is a Q&A and them just kind of talking about current things. And they revealed quite a bit in these episodes, and the red flags were flying for people. These two have been together for about 6.5, 7 years, married for 4, and people are not loving what they are hearing about Miss Sarah's life, feeling like she is providing for this man and he is absolutely giving her nothing. Let me just read you some of the reactions that I saw before I even watched any of these clips. I was just like, I need to watch them because what are you freaking talking about? People said, me after going down a rabbit hole of the influencer who commutes an hour to work, a 9-to-5 job, is pregnant, and manages to film content every day. All meanwhile, her unemployed husband sits around playing video games all day. He doesn't help, spends her money, and talks ish about her behind her back. Imagine being the breadwinner, driving an hour plus to work and back, filming content while pregnant just to come home every day to see your unemployed husband playing video games. I've never heard of Sarah or Andrew until yesterday. After watching videos of them, my blood is boiling. As a pregnant woman, I can't even fathom having a husband or baby daddy like him. The audacity is unreal. Sarah, that's not your husband, that's your child. Run, don't walk. So there's this influencer on here who drives an hour to work every day with a 9-to-5 job, films content, she's pregnant, while her unemployed husband doesn't cook, clean, and plays video games. This episode specifically titled Marriage is Hard, moving in together, dealing with conflict, navigating finances. This is the one that really pissed people off. They talk about moving in together and their first days of marriage and how things have been between them over the last 4 years. They also talk about Andrew playing video games right when they got married and moved in together. And I will say that they say currently he doesn't really play anymore, but in those first couple days of them moving in together and living life as a married couple, he had just got this new computer to game, and he wasn't looking the best in the stories that they were telling about this time, but apparently that's a thing of the past. I'll also preface by saying that Sarah does say at one point that she's happy and feels good about having a baby right now, but as you can obviously see, the public is very concerned. And I do think that that has to do with the fact that a lot of people are seeing these clips, and in these clips, they're talking about how things were and have been, and they just don't love what he had to say.
And now that there is a baby coming on the way too, I feel really good about the marriage that this child is coming into, you know, under. And we still have work to do, but I feel good.
I know some people on TikTok were saying that he doesn't clean, but this happens to be one of the things that on the podcast he actually did say that he's done since day one. He is really tidy, and at one point even felt like he was doing more in their relationship because of it.
I tend to be more tidy, but Sarah might be a little bit more on the clean side.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference between messy and dirty, right?
Yeah.
So I like always want to put stuff away. I put stuff back into the cupboards. I put things back into their place. And I've just kind of owned the fact that it's probably most of the time going to be me doing that. And there's a temptation to always kind of think I'm doing more than she is, because that's just like it's just like the bias that we have. You see everything you do, but you don't see everything that your spouse does.
He then opened up about feeling like doing the heavy lifting when it came to solving conflicts and working on themselves as partners, and that he was being told that this was his role as a husband. It was kind of like a wake-up call.
There's one time where I said, sometimes I just feel like I have to do more of the heavy lifting when it comes to our relationship growing. Even the whole like working on conflict and resolution, stuff like that, or becoming, improving ourselves and becoming better people or whatever. I was like, I just feel like, why do I always have to initiate that? And then my mentor was just like, because you're the husband and that's your wife. And if that's just the reality of who she is, then you own that. And that's going to be your job. And I was just like, oh, I felt really humbled. She was a woman and she was like, that's you.
When they get into the finances aspect of their marriage, they talk about how important it is to talk about financial habits early in a relationship and open up about how things have been for them. When they first got married, Sarah had left her job due to the toll that it was taking on her mental, and Andrew was providing for them as a couple for a couple of months. Then things flipped, and Sarah has done really well for herself over the years. She's an influencer, but she also works a corporate job. And they talked about how there was a 2-year period where Andrew wasn't working because he had left the job that he was at because it was at the church and things just weren't working out for him there. And Sarah talks about having thought about, what if she married rich, and realizing that she is the rich man provider for them and probably always will be.
Yeah. And did I think about what if I married rich?
Yeah.
During those hard times? Probably. Yeah. Like, wow, if I just married a really rich dude, this wouldn't be happening. But I'm like, damn, I am the really rich dude.
But she had opened up about being the provider and realizing that she too wanted that provider.
And, Andrew's painting like a really pretty picture, but it definitely wasn't pretty. I think I had to come face to face with the fact that I still have needs, just like, oh, I think it makes sense as to why, like, I believe that a man is a provider of a home, even though realistically I'll probably be making more money than you for the rest of our lives. But, I never minded that.
I don't mind that either.
But I still had to come face to face with, I still need a provider. No matter how many times I can double, triple, quadruple your income, I still need a financial provider, or contributor. And it's like, how do I express that need to you without bringing guilt or shame along with it?
Yeah.
So then that was really hard for me.
They go on to talk about having a different view on finances, where Sarah is planning for retirement for their future children, and Andrew isn't as worried about that as she is.
And so my bar for what feels financially secure is extremely low. Like, hey, I can pay rent next month. We good, right?
I'm stressed out from hearing that.
Yeah, and then, for Sarah, that's not, she's thinking about retirement. Right? Like she's early 20s.
Our non-existent baby's college tuition, actually.
Yeah. She's thinking about, are we going to be able to like leave enough for our children to be able to live well?
I was not pregnant.
Hell, what are you talking about? They're going to work too,
They talked about her family and how her dad worked multiple jobs, 70 to 80 hours a week to provide and give her a better life. And Andrew was just shocked when he learned all of this and said that Sarah inherited this work ethic, it seemed. And people just felt like her want for financial security was looked down upon in this episode or something, made to be like something that she shouldn't be so worried about, when they felt like she has a good work ethic and a good mindset, and he should be matching that energy instead of hearing about how hard her dad worked for the family and sitting there in astonishment or something. They felt like he should be motivated to get out there and work for his family instead of trying to get Sarah to chill out about worrying about their finances.
There were some moments where I was feeling frustrated. I would even be like, Sarah, maybe we should try putting a number to it. What number is going to make you feel safe? And first she was like, I don't know if I could put a number to it because it's not a real thing. It's just like, it's this thing inside of me that wants to feel safe and secure that I don't think any real like situation can fix.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think her owning that and realizing, okay, I care more about this than is reasonable, and being willing to evaluate that. That's like really what marriage is all about. It's continually evaluating, okay, are my needs and expectations reasonable?
People commented on this episode and said, whole podcast feels like she's trying to beg for him to listen and change. Sarah loves to provide and she lives for it. Sure, Andrew, sure. Good way to provide a cover for yourself. Everyone sees through it. She sounds so defeated and there is such a deep-seated resentment. You can hear it in her voice. Being unemployed while your wife is working 2 jobs to support the entire household is insane. You cannot be in a relationship and start a family if you provide nothing. Now, in watching all of these clips, I was thinking that this guy still had no job, but it does sound like they're mostly talking about a past period and she isn't currently having a baby with an unemployed bum who doesn't do anything for her. It does seem like he is providing somewhat in the financial department because the way they're talking about it, it sounds like he had a really good job lined up before they wanted to even try to have a baby. But even still, people just feel like his motivation is not there in life like Sarah's is, and that he is bringing her down in some ways and they are feeling for her. I mean, ultimately, in the end, hearing Sarah talk about all of this and hearing Andrew, I don't think that he's horrible. I just think that they were raised differently and their views on finances and future finances are completely different. I mean, it just sounds like he's okay doing work that is meaningful and feeling like the rest will kind of figure itself out, and she's wanting to work and make sure that she's provided for and her family is provided for and their future is set, because the way she grew up, her parents worked hard so she never had to worry, and I think that she wants the same for her kids. And it was sounding like he did realize that there were areas where he needed to grow and learn as well.
I needed a much higher level of financial security for me to feel like we're doing okay. So say my bar is up here, Andrew's bar is down here, and that gap of feeling secure financially was what caused a lot of tension.
Yeah. And again, this is something we always repeat. It's like there's no right or wrong necessarily, but for us, what kind of life do we want to build? And just because that makes me feel safe, it doesn't make her feel safe. So what are we going to do here? And so this is one of those moments where I was like, okay, this is an area I need to grow. This is an area where I want to change and learn to want to grow our financial security and think about the future and our kids and all that kind of stuff.
Obviously, a lot of people have seen the clips go around, and in the clips of them talking about how things were and him not working, people have really come down hard on him, feeling like that was something that was currently happening, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I feel like they're really just talking about how they went into the marriage having different financial mindsets and are really telling people, talk about these kinds of things before you're married. Obviously, some people are still going to feel for Sarah and just feel like, Andrew is not matching her level, matching her mindset, but I don't think that she is in as bad of a situation as everyone thought she was from just all of the clips going around, because they do talk about working on things and him knowing he needs to be better about thinking about the future and all of this stuff. But that is what has been said about these two. I certainly want to know what you guys think about all of this and the fact that this went viral. Had you guys heard about Sarah Kim before? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.